Yeah.
Oh, no.
Welcome to Beauty and the Beasts.
And Snow White and the Three Geezers.
That's right. That's right.
Oh gosh.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't have one.
So, friends and
Heidi and her
family.
harem. Oh, sorry.
Oh, now see, that's going on a t-shirt.
Heidi and her harem. Okay, go ahead.
So, this is Saturday night, May 4th, and it is the fourth day, right? So it is the day of the 4th, and people keep going on about May 4th. I remember May 1st and May 5th. Tomorrow, Cinco de Cinco or Cinco de Mayo, right?
Cinco de Cinco.
Cinco de Stinko. And, but today is May the 4th be with you.
That's right.
And
also
my
with
tag
you.
on and my tag onto that is, may the source of the force guide your course.
Wax on.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, and as far as May 1st goes, we used to have a chant, hooray, hooray, it's the 1st of May, outdoor screwing starts today.
Wow.
When you live in Minnesota, you have to have a sense of humor. Of course, I don't live there anymore, thank goodness. But
I don't know. That sounds more than it doesn't. It sounds more than just a sense of humor. It sounds like a wish. It sounds like you guys might have put together some kind of ritual around that.
no,
Isn't that when those no panty days started back then? Weren't you guys responsible for that too?
No pants day, no pants party or something.
Well, no, we have.
Heard of
It's
that.
no panties. It's no panties day. So it's like, oh, today's no panties day. Well,
yeah.
When is it though?
I think I'm going to go for a walk. Yeah, that was my question. I thought it was also something that Jim and his crazy crew back when he was younger came up with, as well as, May Day is the first day of screwing outside. Is that what? How'd that go?
Hooray, hooray, it's the 1st of May, outdoor screwing starts today.
That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you wonder why people want you to come on their shows.
I don't know. It just baffles me. But I enjoy it. I mean, where else can I sit with 3 other intelligent human beings talking about things that go bump in the night, screwing outside, all sorts of activities.
Let me
wondering
share
if-
this out.
Pardon?
Wait, what's that?
I'm kind of wondering if the two are somehow quantum entangled. I meaning, if you screw during the day and you go bump in the night, aren't you doing both at just different times of the day?
Well, you get your coming and going. Yeah.
Oh God, it's getting deeper. I know I've got my boots here somewhere.
And it sort of reminds me of the Mother Superior in the Blues Brothers. What we have here is boys with a bad attitude or something like that. I've only seen that movie maybe 100 times. I should have it recognized. I mean, remembered word for word. But I can hear just a blip of it, and I know exactly where in the movie it is. And so, Heidi, what have you been up to?
I was going to say my spring song is "Spring is Coming, Spring is Coming." It's a little more flowery. I've been knee deep. It's the end of the year. We're doing plays. It's 3D life on fire. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm remembering what I'm doing here. I'm brushing this off. I've been dormant for a little while. It's been all things kids and learning center and plays and all that kind of stuff. So I'm ready to have a laugh. I'm ready to
Well,
let out some steam. Escape
you're
a
with
little.
you're with three clowns tonight, so
The gal and the geezers.
yeah.
Geezers and the gal.
That-
Oh, 3 men and a baby. Three geezers and a gal.
Now,
Tonight's episode.
3 men and a lady. Is that what you said, or three men and a baby?
Well, it's play on that movie, but yeah. Oh, yeah, 3 men
Yeah.
and a lady. There you go. I don't see any lady, but
I had my own definition of that, but I won't say it on the air.
So
type it.
I thought that one of the things that we talked about the other night about getting on tonight and what to talk about was throwing some music up and doing a little more musical interlude. At least playing some stuff. We know that Clay. Oh, there's Clay.
He's in the
Hi.
chat.
Yep, great. Let's get him the link.
Oh, I didn't even notice the chat. I forgot to click the link. Hi, Roger Blair.
It does a
look,
good job with
Let me show
with my channel and with Rumble. X
Okay.
won't show up here, and Geezers
Facebook.
won't show up here. I didn't turn Facebook on.
No, I know. I'm just saying last time
Yeah.
I don't think Facebook showed up, did it?
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah. So they're still working it out, but
Did you invite?
I don't know.
Chastity?
I sent her a message on Facebook. I don't have any other way to get a hold of her.
I can text her, but I know if she's not on, I can text her. I got text.
Yeah,
I'm
give
just
her-
She had
sharing
a
this
rough-
out.
She had a rough
Yeah.
couple of days this week, so I don't know if she's
Yeah,
still
she did.
recuperating or.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But she looked really good earlier today. She was on. She had a post. Actually, she looked great. I mean, it looked like she had some rest, and you could tell by her body language and her facial expressions that she was feeling good. At least that's the impression I got. And
Well, she's gonna love us talking about her.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
that'll get her to get on.
have her ears start to burn. No, I had an incredible afternoon. I've been hearing by a guy named Jefferson Miller for 35 years. He's a longtime friend of of Stu Brown. He's from Popular Science. He's the one who did the 1994 article on Area 51 that was viewed by 6 million people. And
Wow.
but I've been hearing about Jefferson forever. It turns out he is a cinematographer and a director, and he does documentaries. And he won an Oscar a number of years ago for the Twin Towers, because he was there. He was in Manhattan filming Manhattan when on 9/11, and he said, "Yeah, if he'd have known it was going to happen, that was to be the last place he ever wanted to be." But he said it was an incredible time to be there as a journalist and a cinematographer, and interviewing people. I mean, he. The firefighters that were lost, he was really, really close to a lot of firefighters. And, but I've been hearing about him forever. Finally, he moved from New York, and then he was out in LA. And about 6 months ago, he decided to relocate into Tucson. Well, shit, I live in a suburb of Tucson. So he finally realized that, and he came over today. And all my areas of interest happened to be his area of interest.
Oh wow!
And I gave him 3 submarine books, and he said, "Do you think you can get me on a submarine?" I said, "Well, I've been on 22 of them. I'll see what I can do." So when I finish the last segment of my Ohio Boat Volume 3, I will be able to get Jefferson to come on with me. His name's Jefferson Miller. And I didn't realize he'd won an Oscar until I was reading his bio when he was on his way over. So I hang around with some pretty incredible people. I mean, look at you guys. Well, never mind. But I do hang around with some incredible people.
This is where you come. This is where you come to get balance with the companionship you keep. Right.
We'll knock some of the arrogance out of people. Yeah.
I'm not sure where you'd read my bio other than the post office wall.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to. When I was growing up, I half expected to see my picture on in the post office.
Well, you guys may have had posters on walls, but has anybody else been on a milk carton?
What?
Ooh.
A milk carton.
That's what my little girl
Remember?
voice. I have. Just kidding.
You remember the milk carton missing person? The kids milk cartons.
It freaked out my
Yeah.
sister and I. We don't be in the store turning all of them.
It was like, did they?
See if you recognize anybody?
Yeah. Wait a minute. I was
We
there
can
with
help.
school yesterday.
Yeah. Nancy Drew. Let me figure this out.
I mean,
Crazy
I
stuff.
look when Jefferson and his best friend is Stu Brown, who I've known for almost 40 years. And I've been hearing about this guy forever, and I finally get a chance to meet him. And I mean, we're just like this as far as our interests go. I mean, and his wife absolutely loves spooky airplanes and the Blackbird and things that go bump in the night. So, I mean, I'm in good company. Yeah,
You've been talking all day. You've been talking all day then.
Well, he came over about 1:00, and he just left here about 15 minutes before Robert called me. He said, "Hey, where you at?" I said, "Here." I thought today was Friday. I don't know when you don't work for a living, when you just sort of skate along, you forget really what day it is, and the only way I know is what's on the idiot box, and I have to look at my cell phone to know what day of the week it is. Because as far as I'm concerned, every day is a Saturday.
So
Pretty much.
So Jim, I know this is an unfair question to you because you're already in a state of you're in do what you want mode, and that's what you do. And to be able to get to that point is like a place most people would like to kind of land and hopefully at least survive there, let alone thrive. But since you are in that state, I'd like to know if you've experienced this. There's the axiom of the older you get, the more you forget, right?
Huh? Forget
You
what?
kind of and so that's at play, and it varies depending on who you are, what you got, and all the other environmental variables and so forth. But then you also have the other thing where does it seem like time is going faster?
God. It's hitting warp. It's hitting warp 2 right now, and it is already it's already May, and for whatever reason in my head it's still 1989 or 90. I don't know how in the hell we got here. I really don't. I mean, it's just
It has been a time loop this year. I'm freaking out. I have 12 days left of school to teach, and that's really only being 3 days a week. But I'm already like, it's May. Like I really, my mind's blown. That's just this year. It's been a long time since the 80s, though.
And I was the crew that I was supposed to be with is in Belize right now, and they've in 2 days they've cleared a huge piece of I think it's Pyramid B, and everything is going great. I talked to them last night. They had a chance to go have a meal at the Capaltree Lodge, and was it? For whatever reason, I think I've been smoking too much weed lately because my mind is really foggy.
That's right, man.
Yeah, and I have some really good medical stuff too. So
See, every time you bring that up, I get the jellies, and I'm just like, don't be telling me about that good green you got down there, Goodall. Yeah, I'm next thing you know, he's going to open up Goodall's green shop.
Just gonna say, good old greenery.
yeah, here's my.
Oh yeah, you suck.
And,
Do you
and,
ship?
and today's youth have no idea the challenges of getting weed in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, or the 90s. And the fact that I can go in and use my debit card and buy $400 worth of weed and gummies and other stuff. And I'm not looking over my shoulder waiting for the cops to nail me. I mean,
Now you're just looking for people who are looking down on you. Oh, you're one of those weed people. You go into the shops and you buy that stuff, and then you're one of them.
Yeah, I'm one of those weed people. But mine is prescription.
Right?
I mean,
I don't mean to laugh at that, but yes.
Yeah. With
you
people, I mean, I have. You go living with a headache for 38 years, not the two-legged kind, but the brain surgery kind.
No,
The two-legged with
I hear
the
you.
brain.
Yes.
So Gerald, what do you think? You seeing a combination of the older you get, the more you forget, plus time speeding up? So it's kind of like, how do you balance those two?
Yeah, I used to be able to remember all kinds of stuff, just quick right off the bat. Now I got to search for it a little bit. Like, all right, I know it's there. Where is it? Whether it's a stat or whether it's a music group that I used to, or some kind of thing I used to just automatically be able to talk about and bring it up. Now it's like, okay, I know it's there. What is it? Give me a hint.
I mean, the way I look at it is, when you're born, you have no memories. You may have memories in utero, but you don't have any memories outside the box, so to speak. And for every memory you have an empty 4-drawer filing cabinet. So you have your first memory, it goes onto a folder and it goes into the slot. When you're 79 years old, it's like Raiders of the Lost Ark in that warehouse. And you have to go 4 miles down this way, and then you go over another quarter of a mile and up 6 levels, and it's in row 238-4-BB/9. And that's where the filing cabinet is. And then you have to go to the 4-drawer filing cabinet. Where enough is that? I know it's in there somewhere. Because you'll say something. I know the name of that person. I know what you're talking about. And you can't get it out. But an hour later, I know what it was. Just when it took me that long to finally find the information. It's there, but you have packed so much in your life that it gets lost. It gets lost in the just in the vastness of your memory.
Yep. My short term's been shot lately. I'm in the moment, but a lot of memory flooding in. It was a really rough week of new things coming up and out, and a lot of healing, and I'm a little like recovery, like like this from the week of just like stuff. So old unburied things were unlocked this week for some reason, and it just came flooding over me. But ask me about an hour ago, and I have no idea what just happened.
Well, Crunchit decided that I might as well go back to bed. Maybe he's not enjoying it.
Oh no!
I think that's a friend from down under, right?
I don't know. That's not B, is it?
No.
He hasn't tagged me.
Crunch it. Crunch what? Crunch it.
Crunch it.
It.
Tell us.
I have no idea where that's from. Is B going to join us, or what is he?
I haven't heard hiding her hair. He's got the link, and I don't know.
Clay says
do
he's
not
trying
know.
to join.
Clay is? Hold on here.
Yeah, in your chat on YouTube.
Oh, yeah,
he
I
says
see
he's
him.
trying to join.
I see it. Hold on. Come on in, Clay. I haven't seen anything from B.
I always picture you, Bauer, with like, speaking of Star Wars, a huge like console in front of you because you're always like looking around. I'm like, he's got monitors everywhere. I picture you like.
Hey, what? When you went into John Lear's study, when he
Hey, Clay.
when he was still alive before his wife filed for divorce after 54 years, which is kind of weird. But he had 8 monitors. He had every news station on, and then he had 2 security cameras, one for the front, one for the back, and monitors. But you had multiple cameras front and back. And you go in there, it was like he's ready to launch the moon rocket or something. Why don't you hit? Are you trying to save the image or what?
I see a camera.
I figured. So I've got 2 27-inch curved monitors. So I've basically got like over 50 inches of monitor in front of me. But there's 2 monitors, and then I've got a 36-inch gaming monitor over here, which is on another computer. So yeah, there's a lot of real estate. That's one corner. That's the other corner.
I have a 27-inch Mac over here and a 28-inch 4K monitor on the side. Actually, I need 3. I need another one.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a 36 in the middle, then I'm going to take my 27 curves and I'm going to turn them vertical and have them on both sides.
Ooh, that'd be kind of wild.
There we go.
That was the tamest talk about inches I've ever heard.
Woo, dog.
No.
All right. Okay,
that's
Gerald,
geezer talk
Gerald,
right there. If
up.
I've ever heard it.
Yes,
Gerald, you're up.
Nice to meet you.
Heidi, have you met Clay?
No.
Okay. Well, now you have.
But I just wrote an impression. Sorry,
Heidi.
pal.
What?
Nice to meet
6
you.
inches? 6 inches is that much? We're going down the toilet. So let's. What's the next subject?
Well, I was talking about what the subject was until I think you grabbed a pocket of nuggets there, Goodall, and tossed them all over the place because all I remember is a bunch of bouncing around here and there and everywhere else. Had nothing to do and you'll remember this. The topic tonight is music. And music that is maybe you haven't heard before. Different people that do different shit. We went through the whole thing Thursday night, and Gerald, I sent you that message this morning. We found out what happened. So we played music Thursday night, and I played musicians that most people haven't heard, and they're not the kind of stars with the publishing behind them that are all the enforcers of the copyright claims and use and all that bullshit. These are all a bunch of new cats. People are going, are you kidding me? You want to share my music? Do it. Completely the opposite because they own the content, right? And they want to get it to as many people as possible. So anyway, I played a bunch. And actually, let me back up. Before that, last Saturday night, we had that 7-hour Yap Fest. At the end, I played Whitney Houston's rendition of the Star Spangled Banner at the 91 Super Bowl, which was just anybody who appreciates good vocals and music and all that's one of those performances that the artist just sunk themselves into and just, brought it to life. It's like Chris Stapleton, right?
Oh, you listen to that and you just get chills. What was it?
Right.
Was the Eagles? I think it was the Eagles coach as he's singing it. I mean, he has tears just rolling down his face. So did a couple of the players. It is all you can do is sit back and go, "Whoo, that is
wow."
Good. I mean, and he could have sang the phone book and had this the same reaction because he has such an incredible tone to his voice and it's such a unique flavor to it. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. It's
And
the
for-
character and the voice as well as, just the tonal quality and the range and the resonance. I mean, when people like Ella Fitzgerald and Nancy Wilson, most people don't know that there was another Nancy Wilson before Nancy Wilson of Heart. And she was a black jazz singer. One of the most purest, fucking awesome voices you'll ever hear. And most people don't know about her.
She lived in Baldwin Hills, and I installed a phone for her in 1966.
Nancy Wilson?
Yes.
So you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean,
I heard that name.
in Baldwin Hills, you had Ike and Turner and the Ikeettes. You had Ray Charles. You had Ella Fitzgerald. You had, who was on with something with an angel? It was a TV series. She's a singer.
I don't know.
Well,
Baldwin Hills, they call the Black Beverly Hills out here.
Yes, yeah, they
they
did.
literally- yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I worked the Crenshaw district as a night repairman.
Okay.
That was exciting. I got a call one night. I was telling the guys on Thursday night that I got a call on a Friday night, and I was pissed because I had a date with a good-looking brunette, and but I was on call. So it was the California Club on Santa Barbara Avenue, which is now Martin Luther King Boulevard. And I drive up, and on the marquee, these are just local groups: Ike and Tina Turner and the Ikeettes, the Four Tops, and the Impressions. Some guy had lost a dime in a payphone, and this one he had that metal cord on it, and he got mad. He's going to pull the thing out, and it opened up and just opened him up. But he knocked the payphone off the wall. I mean, he held up and beat the hell out of it. And I had to go up there and retrieve it. So I go, as I walk in there at 9 o'clock on a Friday night, I walk in there, I'm the only white guy. And it was like in Animal House, when they went to see Otis Day and the Knights, it was like hitting the mute switch. I mean, literally, the band stopped, everybody. And I said, I'm from the phone company. All of a sudden, I became invisible. And I was still there. I was still there at 4:30 in the morning when I left. I absolutely loved it. But it was
Jim, you will love this, and I'm sure the rest of you as well will as well, because I'm going to share some Nancy Wilson for those of you who didn't know the other Nancy Wilson, and we'll just see what happens if there's anything. They get a little antsy with the playing the shit, but I don't care. All right, let me go here. Now we see it.
I see it says, I don't see a picture, a video. Yep.
Upright bass.
My love has no beginning, my love has no end. No front or back, my love won't bend, I'm in the middle. Lost in a spin, loving you, loving you. And you don't know how glad I am. My love has no bottom, my love has no top. My love won't rise, my love won't drop. I'm in the middle, can't stop loving you, loving you. And you don't know how glad I am. I wish I were a poet, so I could express what I wish I were an artist so I could paint a picture of how I feel today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My love has no walls on either side. That makes my love wider than wide. I'm in the middle, can't hide. Love you. I love you, you. And you don't know how glad I am. How glad I am. No, you don't know how glad I am. How glad I am. How glad I am. How glad I am.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean,
That was awesome.
she's just, I mean, that's back when it was the instruments and the voice. There wasn't all of the stuff that has been added since then. And not that the stuff isn't good. Some of it is just amazing. But like anything, if you use too much of it, it's the good thing turns into a not so good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of voices, last night they had it was a YouTube thing that someone sent me. It was I think during the sing-offs, whatever you want to call them, on the Voice or America's Got Talent, and I can't remember the young lady's name, but she did.
Joplin, Janis Joplin.
No, damn.
Like that just came around.
Drugs will do that to you. It was really originally sung. Not originally sung. It was sung. The most noteworthy version was they called him Z. He's Somewhere Over the Rainbow. It's a song. It's a song that Simon absolutely hates. And when she said that, you could just see his face go, "Oh."
Judy Garland.
I mean,
yeah, but I know the one you're talking about. This woman just.
Oh, I mean, it's just absolutely pure honey coming out, and you just sit there and go. And she could sing anything, and you'd love it. I mean, it was she was unbelievable.
Yeah,
and
he doesn't he doesn't like the Hawaiian guy that sings it, right? Is that the version he doesn't like?
And he died at a very young age. I mean, it was. I think he was at almost 500 pounds when he died.
Yeah.
But he came in, he called a buddy of his in Maui, and they said, will you open the studio for me? And it's late at night. I mean, it's the middle of the night. So the guy opened up the studio. He had one cut. That was it. And the rest is history. And it's just, it was just a beautiful rendition. And this young lady, she actually made it probably 1,000
took it to another level.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It was stunning. And
the music was sweet to my ears. I only have one ear that works, but it doesn't work very well anyway. But I've always been able to, even with partial hearing, I can still appreciate beautiful music. And whether it's an instrumental or whether it's a whole group or it's just a single individual. Like we were talking, Chris Stapleton singing the national anthem. I mean, you just want to sit down and it sort of grabs hold of you and say, all right, listen and enjoy and reflect. But that woman was incredible, absolutely incredible. But I've
Robert,
Yeah,
Before
go
we
ahead.
get too far into this, let's say hi to Clay, and we haven't really said anything to Clay since he dropped in.
Yeah, you've heard of the Three Musketeers. Well, we're the Three Stooges on Medicare. Yeah, I guess.
Can't hear
There's
you,
gonna
Clay. Check your mic, Clay. Nothing.
Nothing.
Uh-oh.
Are you muted on Rumble?
Oh, you should plug it in.
Probably helps to plug your mixer in, eh?
Oh, well, there you go.
It works great. Works great.
How you
y'all
doing, Clay?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Happy to be here.
Nice to cyber meet you.
Good to meet you as well.
It's a real pleasure.
I've been. Did I tell you guys about the AI music program that I've been messing with? Well, AI music has come a long way, and now I was a beta tester for AI music like 8 months ago. But now they got these new programs coming out, and I dropped a link over in the Rumble chat to a song I created for the Geeks. Now I didn't know what style you guys would like, so I just picked like a blues style.
Oh, that works.
And I used Chat GPT for the lyrics. I just put in, write a song for a podcast called Geezer's Geeks, where a bunch of old guys talk about current affairs and other cool stuff. And
this is going to be rich.
This is the song we came up with. Now, of course, you can.
Clay, I'm looking in the chat. I don't see the link. Where did you put it?
It's way up there.
It's like 7 minutes ago.
Yeah, it's over on Rumble.
Yeah.
Hold on. God, I didn't realize we had all this chat in here.
That's funny, Clay, because I liked your introduction to your song about conspiracy music, and I was actually going to reach out to you, see if you'd do one for Midwest Night Watchers.
I can. I will definitely do one. Just
nice.
We'll talk about that. You can let me know what style of music and stuff that you want, because I can do it in all styles. Rap, metal, rock and roll, pop, electro, funky, jazz, whatever. Yeah. It's pretty amazing.
You might want an intro song for her show too.
I know. I'm like, I'm step in line.
Yeah, something like for the Munsters,
Well, it's pretty interesting software, and there's a couple of different softwares out right now, but they've only been out for the last couple of weeks. And really, it's down to where you can just put your lyrics in or whatever you want to say in it, and pick the style of music you want, and it does the rest. It sings it for you, plays all the music, and it's pretty amazing stuff. Now, you would think as a musician, I would hate AI, but it's quite the opposite. I see it as a useful tool.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Now, I only just made this. It took seriously like 5 minutes. I just put in some random stuff in Chat GPT and then transferred it all over here. And I used, I think it's blues. Yeah.
Well,
groovy
shall we
blues.
give it a spin, panel? I mean,
yes,
what do you think?
please.
Yes, absolutely.
Should we give it a gush? All right, give me a 5 if you can hear it.
In a corner of the internet, where wisdom's found. A podcast range with a unique sound. Bunch of old souls with tales to tell about the world today. How it's doing swell. Jesus Geeks, they're the ones to seek with their wit, their wisdom to make you think. From politics to gadgets, they've got the scoop. Jesus Geeks, they'll keep you in the loop. Seen the changes through decades gone by. From vinyl to streaming, they'll tell you why. But with a twinkle in their eyes and a nod to the past, they'll talk about technology that's faster than fast. Jesus Geeks, they're the ones to seek with their wit and their wisdom. they'll make you think. A bunch of old souls with tales to tell about the world today and how it's doing swell. Jesus Geeks, they're the ones to seek with their wit and wisdom and make you think. From politics to gadgets, they got the scoop. Jesus Geeks, they'll keep you in the loop. Jesus Geeks, they'll keep you in the loop. See the changes through decades gone by. From politics to snake and strays, from feminist sages to seekers. So if you're old, take a seat. Listen to Jesus Geeks, they can't be beat. Without an insight to fill your ears and make you see the world through season years. Jesus Geeks, they're the ones to seek with their wit and wisdom to make you think. From politics to gadgets, they got the scoop. Jesus Geeks, they'll keep you in the loop. Jesus Geeks, they're the ones to meet with stories of life and advice that's sweet. Tune in, join their crew. Jesus Geeks, they're like you.
Hey, I loved it.
Nice.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Program's a
awesome.
lot
That
of
was
fun.
really
Oh.
good.
That was
All right,
Program's
well
a lot
done.
of fun.
Nice.
We have it. Yeah, if we can use it, the Geezer Geeks have a theme song on the intro.
And now with that, so there's a free version, and you only can do so many songs with the free version. But with the free version, you only own what you input into it. So if you decide not to use it anymore, they still own all the music. But as a paid subscriber, anything you make while a paid subscriber, you actually own the rights to. So that is another cool feature too. So that song's actually, I just made it. It's mine.
That's
I own the
awesome.
rights to that.
I
Really
think.
good.
I mean, it's
So you just used a prompt, giving it the characteristics, the theme, and does it give you the ability to go in and make corrections to any of the text? Because it seems like some of the lyrics were missing.
Yeah,
because I was scrolling through, I'm listening to it, going, wait a minute, I don't see that one.
Yeah, it's still AI. So, and it's still new technology. I mean, even though but you can structure the song. So, like I put in, and it's all through prompting. I put in an intro, and then maybe the first verse and the chorus, and then you could put in like a solo in the middle or something. But then, so with this program, you get the first 2 minutes, and then if you want anything longer, you have to extend it. So when you extend it, then you can add more stuff. Like you can add a middle section to your song or an instrumental or whatever. That is pretty interesting stuff. And
that was great. I loved some of the wit in some of the lyrics that it came up with, based off of your prompt. And some of it was like, okay, that's a good one. That can go on a t-shirt. Mm-hmm. And we've been gauging everything that we've been coming up with, as well as that t-shirt worthy. Because that's when you go, well, that's something that, you might want to put on a hat or a mug or a t-shirt or something. But I thought the lyrics were well done for a first pass.
Not bad for Chat GPT.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can customize it yourself. You can put your own actual lyrics, what you want it to say.
That's why I was asking if you could change the text.
Yeah. Instead of Chat GPT, that was just a quick copy and paste.
Yeah, there was some nice stuff in there, and I'd like to, maybe even take a whack at that guitar solo in there, and throw some of our own shit in, and kind of rearrange it. And it's like, well, you know what, we could probably do a Geezer Geek, because that's one of the things I noticed is going Geeks instead of Geeks.
Yeah.
Actually,
It's still AI.
It almost sounds better in
Yeah.
a song saying "geezer geeking."
Mm.
That was the whole idea that we were just like, well, let's just do geezers geeking and geeking, and then people can decide if they want to listen to a bunch of old farts talk about, and that was cool. Their wit and their wisdom, they'll make you think. That was kind of sweet. From politics to gadgets, they've got the scoop. Geezer geeks, they'll keep you in the loop.
Yeah,
That was cool.
No, that's good. I mean, I enjoyed the beat. I enjoyed just the all the words. I mean, it was just very much. It could be a theme song for our group here.
Well, and I know a lot of musicians, and there's a big percentage of the musicians that absolutely despise me working with AI or just despise AI because they think that, and in some cases, it may replace musicians. But for me, I see it as a useful tool, and it being new, man, I'd rather get down in and start using this tool early before, a couple of years down the road when, it's too late and you're trying to catch the train. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Use it
Now, was
before it uses
was
you.
this the new version, Suno 3?
Yeah. Now, if you're using the free version, just be aware you can go down to their terms of service and stuff and read that, and it'll explain to you about how you don't own the music copy. You don't own the rights to the music if you're doing the free version, and how if you're under the paid subscriber, you do own the rights. Even if you leave, you still own the rights to the music while you're making it there. So that's a pretty cool little thing. Like I could take that song right now and go put it on Spotify if I wanted to.
Do it.
No.
Oh, yeah. It could be. It
But-
could be Billboard Top 100.
I could see it as a useful tool, and I guarantee you're going to see the music industry flooded with AI music here in the future. Now, I see it as, you can create a song, be like, okay, I'm not sure what I want. Let's do a couple of, things on here. Ooh, I like this the way that sounds. Let's do that, and then go ahead and tab it over to your guitar and to your other instruments, and then you're actually playing the song. Or like me, somebody that don't have a band, I could maybe just take the guitar part, or just take the whole thing, throw it in my DAW, and add my part to it if I wanted to.
Right.
So I'm actually playing with it, or play it in a background and play with it live even, So it could definitely be a useful tool. I can see how some people could be intimidated by it. It could be scary. AI can be scary if you don't know the technology.
Well, I think I agree. And being a geezer geek, who's also a musician even longer than being a geek, when I built my studio in 98, 99, and then became a unplanned indie label, all of a sudden, I'm an audiophile. I consider myself one. So don't put any compression on anything. Don't do any, little mischief to minimize this file size and all that, and by reducing frequencies and content, because that's what MP3 did. So right at 2000, turn of the millennium, that's when the MP3 and Napster and all that got going. And I'm sitting there going, no, I'm not doing I had a website where you could download all of the albums, individual tracks. We had merch, T-shirts, flutes, drums, original artwork. We had all kinds of stuff. And it was all authentic and original material. And I was like, well, I'm not, just because people are all the rage is the MP3s, I'm not doing that. I want my lossless, my FLACs, at a minimum, my waves, because I can hear everything and I want to hear everything. Well, how did that go, Bauer? Well, I eventually had to convert everything to MP3 because that was the medium, the format that was going out and could be consumed everywhere. Fortunately, there's tricks you can do to MP3s. If you, I'm sure Clay, you get in there, you can beef it up and give back some of what it's taken out, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But that is the course of the technology thing, and one of the reasons that geezers need to get their geek out, because these kids today, these last two generations, have no idea what the relationship is between a number 2 pencil and a cassette tape.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Some
Well,
kids.
And now music even, and music's kind of going through another change of technology where it's all going from MIDI to USB, where we all used to have to connect our equipment using MIDI and MIDI devices. Now it's kind of all going to USB. And I
Well,
imagine,
you still need, if you can still do MIDI,
Mhm.
because I've got a controller that I use with my DAW,
Yeah, your
and
little
it goes through
MP.
USB or connects through it. But
Yeah.
that was one of the things I was going to ask you. I haven't seen it yet. Maybe you have. When do you think, like the Suno, right? What if those files could be downloaded as MIDI files?
Now I would think that would be the next step. Instead of now that would be awesome. Like if I could like separate all of that stuff out, and man, how cool would that be? Yeah.
Right.
As an artist, especially. I mean, if I could just transfer that right in and have it separate right into my Studio One, please take out this part and replace it, take out this part and replace it, or add this part or whatever. That would be really cool. Yeah. Hopefully that's the direction it goes.
Well, I think it only makes sense because the MIDI technology has been around for decades, and it really hasn't changed. There really isn't any reason to change it. The only limitations are the devices and the channels speed and the processing. Outside of that, it's just instant. It's just machine interface, digital interface. So when the AI, I think, starts dropping that kind of stuff, oh no.
What's
Wait a minute,
blocking your face?
Oh,
what's on the
shit.
top of your...
This is the camera. Hi, Terry.
Hey, hi guys. That's my camera actually. G'day. Yeah, g'day everybody. How are you?
Well, it's still over your face.
I know. But guess what? It's going to be fixed in a sec, isn't it?
All right.
Okay. Hold it. What's up? It doesn't like it. Actually, it will not.
It took a minute.
It's not
for
the
it to
camera
recognize
you're
my
using.
camera.
It's not the
Well,
camera
Mine
you're
too.
using.
Mine
I
too.
did use that camera, believe it or not. But
It's not being used right now.
Oh, I know.
You got one camera shooting the ass of another camera.
Oh, I know. But
the only
sorry,
time that
guys.
would make sense. The only time that would make sense is if the feed is coming from down under.
Yeah, but the thing
All
is,
that.
why won't it accept John? Look, I'm yeah, okay. It's really kind of
Go.
good.
You need to
It's
pop
good.
out and then pop back in and choose the right camera. Because right now you're about ready to
Mine
make
did that.
it easier with all that
choose
flashing.
the right. I did
Well,
choose the right camera.
that doesn't matter if you did. Try it again, because Heidi had to do
Okay.
the same thing.
I did the same thing.
That's it. I've had
Yeah.
enough. I'm going.
See ya. Adios. We'll see you on the backside.
Okay.
So the whole AI thing, I'd like to get into another time. Maybe it's just kind of more of a real AI geek kind of conversation, because the stuff that's going on there.
It cracks me up that I'm sitting in on this because I was that gal forever. I mean, who was I? Max Egan, I think, was warning me in the early 2000s, and, and here AI is, and I'm still recovering from the 8-month strike of AI taking over for the writers and motion picture and stuff. And I'm listening, but I love this perspective, Clay, because I'm like, oh, that makes sense. You have to know how to use it before it uses you, and you integrate it with your humanness. But yeah, so thank you for letting me engage in this conversation. I'm learning something new. And I'm not so programmed going, no AI, stop the AI takeover.
Well, the thing about AI, and I have a particular penchant and a rant that I will try to go on a mini version of about this. The problem with all of the stuff that's happening with AI, in my opinion, is because of an excessive amount of hyperbole, muss, fuss, sex, and sizzle. Because all of the shit that is going on, people don't understand what AI actually is. they're told that it's this thing that could morph into your HAL 9000 Terminator moment.
Skynet.
It's like, no, it can't do that. What is it? So AI, artificial intelligence, is already an incorrect term. It's just another example of lazy geeks not getting it, their marketing on and going, hey, what do we need to call this? Because it's neither artificial nor is it intelligence. That's not what this stuff is. It's all based on programming using two major components of programming, which we've had for decades. We've been using for decades. And what it does, it's an expert system designed to do a specific task. So this is the next evolution of stuff we've already had. Alexa, Siri, Bing, Google, Brave, any of the search engines. What they are is they are prompt scripting systems, which means you can type a sentence. Say, show me this about that, blah, 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 and it'll go get it. Well, we've been talking to Siri and Alexa for the last 15 years, doing the same thing.
It in my house.
And how well did they do their jobs? But what were they? They were prompt interrogation systems. Mm-hmm. So there's a prompt scripting language, and that prompt scripting language tells the interpreter what you can consider and where to go look. It has, if it's programmed to go find data in a certain way with certain guardrails. That's the programming of the script language. Okay. That's why Google's Gemini was such a major embarrassment when they said, show us some Nazi soldiers. And they all came back as blacks with Nazi helmets on. It's like, what? How'd you get that wrong? And they did that over and over and over again because it was programmed to be diverse. So I'm not going to get started on the diversity, equity, and inclusion, which really means didn't earn it. But that whole mentality and ideology is what went into that programming. So the system only does what it's programmed to do, number one. Number two, it uses this new thing called large language models, which is nothing more than a shitload of databases. And it uses a neural network to take the prompt, go scan those databases, bring back something, and here's the output. That's all it does. It can't do anything else. Now, is that important?
It can't create.
You can't program sentience and the aspect of sentience or consciousness into an inorganic system. You can't program imagination, insight, will, desire, ambition, intention. Because science can't even define those and put them into a mathematical model with all of their math models and machines that they use to create all this mathematical shit to explain the reality we inhabit, which is all based on looking for the wrong thing for the wrong reasons. That's a summary of my rant. The AI can't do any of the extreme, we're going to come get you. It can't do that.
Well,
it can be programmed. It can be programmed to mimic it, but it can't be programmed to do it on its own.
Well, they're working on organic computing now.
That's
so,
true.
I mean,
but
once they start introducing stem cells and the organic feature into it, who knows what they'll be able to grow and be able to do.
I think that is possible, but not with our current physics. So Heidi,
Military
to your point, well, yeah, you got super soldiers and all kinds of interesting stuff going on. Hybrids of this, clones of that, right? That's a whole nother discussion. But the AI that is being used in society now, being unleashed, is an expert system.
Gotcha.
It's good at what it's programmed to go do. That's why there's hundreds, if not thousands, of AI companies out there right now. Mm-hmm. One does images, another one does music, another one does movies, another one does this, another one does that, another one does this, that, and something else. He still can't figure out his camera.
That camera looks good too. Hi, Terry.
Looks like it would be a better one.
Well, guess what? Me, I see the microphone and the camera's X off, and I thought, hello, what's going on here? And I clicked on it, it says enable. And I thought, oh shit, that's me, isn't it? Yeah, dumb me.
Well, Heidi actually had to unplug her camera and plug it back in, and the computer says, "Oh,
Yeah.
there it is."
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you run a damn Mac, isn't it? So it's the, the bad
I
apple,
rolled
isn't
with
it?
it.
The bad apple. Oh, let's see. Look, there we go.
There you go.
That's a
Same
great
bloody
picture.
thing.
It is.
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
picture. For
Yeah, it's nice and clear.
Same
Are you going through your external mic or you through your computer mic?
I'm going through my Yeti mic at the moment. Can't you tell by the sexy voice? That's panting, mate. That's just panting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I'm actually using the monitor's microphone, not using my whatever it is.
Monitor camera, you mean?
Yeah.
It's a good camera.
So let me be welcome, but I want to finish this so it doesn't get lost because Heidi has a particular interest in this. And
Well, while you guys doing that,
reason,
I'll just keep playing, see if I can get my camera working. Okay?
Yeah, it sounds good. Why don't you mute your mic and see what you can do with your video? So these are expert systems. They can't have their own free will or will of any kind for that matter. But what they can do is extremely enhanced productivity in specific tasks, like writing, like doing images and graphics, like doing music, as Clay showed. Okay. It's not perfect. It will get better. But it is a really awesome extension of the computing capability of being essentially, this is what I call it. I have a technology business and I've got a website for it, and it's based on AI and blockchain and tokenization, because I think that's where the future is going. So I've designed a system for the future to go do that. So the AI that I've identified in my system is not artificial intelligence. It's assisted interrogation. Because what you want when you go to an AI system, what do? You ask it to go do something. So in doing something, it needs to go interrogate the available information to go execute its task.
So it
That's
should
all
be
it is.
artificial assisted.
Well, I originally called it assisted intelligence, but it's really not intelligent. There's nothing in it. Depends again on what your definition of intelligence is. And here's my little peccadillo on the linguistical component of intelligence. What does that mean? How is it defined? IQ tests that have been around for the last 80, 100 years are complete bullshit. They don't test for intelligence. They test for retention. There is a little bit of a thinking skill in there. But intelligence, and this again is my opinion and my rant, I define intelligence thusly: the efficiency with which you acquire, analyze, and adapt new information. So it's the efficiency. How well do you acquire, analyze, and adapt to new information? The more efficient you are in doing that, the better you're going to do it, whatever the task it is that you're trying to accomplish. It's just logic. There's no science, theology, philosophy, or anything else behind that. It's just, that's how it works. So when you get to me, that's a nut of the nugget. So it is the core of with which how things work. Well, these computer systems, software and hardware, are inorganic, number one. Anything that has been attributed to having any kind of life, let alone consciousness, has always been everything around us. Plants are alive, animals are alive, the earth is alive, the sun's alive, the planets are alive, the galaxy's alive, the cosmos is alive. Everything is alive. Ergo, it's got some kind of, not a level, but a different degree of consciousness. Because consciousness, in my model, is what everything comes from. And then how it executes itself through energy, energy expressed as frequencies in an infinite field, which makes the materium and the etherium. Materium being the physical space that we inhabit, the etherium, which is where everything else that is unseen is, all those frequencies. So all that stuff in there is where all this stuff is. You can't put that, we can't build that. We can't create something like that. We don't have the knowledge, the understanding, the connection to the frequency set at that level, at that degree. We're here just in a really finite, limited, but highly intensely emotional and energetically experiential carbon-based meat suit. You can't put one of us into a computer with the current model of physics that we have. But you can take it and you can do some really cool shit that makes your life a lot easier. Mm-hmm. That Riverside FM that I've been doing my shows with, I record them and it produces all of the show notes, does all the transcripts, does all of the key takeaways, does all the sound bites, does all the chapters. And then it goes through and it creates little clips based on what it thinks are like little good 1 minute snapshots of the show. It would take me 4 or 5 days to do that. It's done in an hour or two now.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I'm talking about.
I do. I guess I just have that pull of that creative spark of it, of being like, oh, that's a good part. But you know, you can still have that part to play. You can still do that.
I'm just here for the tunes.
Yeah. You know what you were saying though? You can't take someone and insert it. My little was going to be unless you have a Wonka bar. Remember the little boy that went in the TV?
Yep.
Got the golden ticket.
He got the golden ticket. I'm going to yell to a child really quick. I need to get a power.
So, Clay, did any of that make any sense to you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, AI doesn't have feeling, and that's the whole thing about why I'm not worried, at least right now, when it comes to music. And people shouldn't be afraid. They should see it more as a tool and not as a replacement, in my opinion, anyway. So
agreed.
You're right. You know, you're right, Clay. I'm scarred by Hal. Hal, and I'm obsessed with Joaquin Phoenix. One of my favorite movies is Her. Can you help me go ahead and do this one? Sorry. So, but yes, I think you're right. My buddy Lawrence talks about it all the time too. He works with kids and he works in fitness and health, and he said it really helps him organize programs and, you know, keep things together. What's their favorite thing? And then you get this whole itinerary. Okay, I'll move it. Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, so I get it. I'm programmed. I got to get through my programming. Thank you. My little gal hooked me up with a charger. Sorry.
Nice.
Tech.
I mean,
so I get it. I love learning more about it.
Yeah, technology-wise, when I was first exposed to it, it was punch cards. It wasn't even magnetic tape yet.
I started on the UNIVAC 1701 key punch machine as a service tech. Those things were 50% mechanical and 50% electric. You put your screwdriver in the wrong spot, you were toast.
Literally.
Literally.
No, I mean, I remember when my dad got so excited, he'd gone from a 400 baud modem to a 1200 baud modem. Mm-hmm. And he was beside himself. That was incredible. And he was writing, he had a teletype Model 33 that he had at a phone coupler, and he was talking to the big GE mainframe in Los Angeles down by the international airport. And you'd hear the thing going, that was a letter or a number or whatever it was. Of course, all he's seen is, you know, he's working on the ones and zeros. And that's what tells them, you know, the machine what to do. But to go from that, and then I got into the disk drive business, and they were just going. Actually, floppy disk manufacturing. I had some 8-inch. I had some customers that wanted copies of 8-inch floppies. Then, of course, you went to the 5 1/4 inch. And I worked for a magnetic head company called Nortronics, and they developed streamer heads and audio recording head, 24 channel heads. And I was their the flexible disk product sales manager. And I'd gone to Comdex 81, and I had a 3.5 inch diskette. And I said, Mervyn, that's the future. No, it's not. You just change over to 5 1/4 inch from 8-inch. I said, trust me. Well, that's where it went. And then of course, the half-life, then it was going to see, optical disc. I was in optical disc manufacturing as well. Maybe every industry I go into goes out of business. Well, that could be true. And I saw go from CDs to DVDs, and then you started going in with the USB, and now it's USB. I have the USB 3 port in the back, and I have a new 6 terabyte solid state hard drive that I can put in my back pocket. I can remember being at Shugart in Sunnyvale. This was still in the 80s, I believe. And they were trying to get 500 gigabytes in a hard drive, and that'll fit in a standard 5 1/4 inch slot. And now I can go to not Home Depot, I can go to Best Buy and pick up a drive that's in an armor case. It's orange, so you can't miss it. I have 2.5 terabytes in there. I've been taking all my hard drives I've had forever because I don't never throw them out.
So
And
wait a minute. Are you telling me you have a 2-inch and a 6-inch? Is that what you just said?
What?
Hard
keeps
drive.
Getting smaller.
Hard drive.
Keeps getting smaller. Hell, I have.
That's why I was asking, which direction were you going?
The 4K camera I have in my car for recording all my road trips. Make sure if I crash into somebody, it's not my fault.
That sentence didn't make sense.
It's a
if
200.
I crash into somebody, make sure it's not my fault.
Yeah.
Because they don't have a camera.
Oh, okay.
And it has a chip in it the size of my fingernail, and it's a 256 gigabyte SD card, micro SD card.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the fast ones, and it was what, $30, $25. I mean, God, I can remember when Control Data canceled their Centurion project. It was I think it was a 1 gigabyte storage array, and it was as big as a commercial refrigerator. And I was there the day it got canceled. They were one of my customers, and then I was at Texas Instruments the day that maybe I had bad luck. When they announced over the PA system, they had stuff coming off the loading dock, being offloaded on the loading dock, when they made the announcement that effective immediately, all shipments and orders and employees working in the bubble memory division are hereby told that that organization ceased to exist as of the end of the workday today. That was supposed to be the next big thing, but I've watched the memory capability, which allows for artificial intelligence or adaptive intelligence. All that stuff just keeps smaller and smaller and faster and cheaper. I can remember selling a DEC RA92. It was a 1 gigabyte hard drive for $25,000. You only want a 1 gigabyte? How about a 500 terabyte? I mean, And oh yeah, it's under $100. I mean, it's just crazy to see all this happen, and it's been fun. My dad was a computer geek.
That's one of the reasons I did not pursue a tech career. I fell face first into the puddle, and back in the mid '80s. The next thing I knew, I was writing programs using 4GL languages and building Novell networks with 286 AT switchable 6 to 8 hertz, the 512 floppy, and 10 meg of RAM and a 10 and a 40 gig hard drive on a green screen. So we had the back then you had either amber or green.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it was just character based. And we used to play snipes on that. It would come up. It was kind of like a Space Invaders meets Pac-Man. And it was this maze that you go through, and you had your little hotkeys, and you could see if you were the admin, which I was because I ran the system. I could see where these other guys were, and I'd sneak up on their ass and blow them up. And that was the shit back in the mid 80s.
Yep.
Right. And now it's like everything that we used to carry around in our car, boombox, camera,
in the trunk, and
unload
it.
Trunk, right? Speakers,
Atlas,
Blop Punk cassette player, all that shit's in our pockets now.
Yep.
So with this, to me, going back to kind of maybe wrapping a loop around this AI thing, there are going to be tasks that people currently perform that will be transformed by this tech. There's no doubt about it.
Repetitive.
A lot of it is a bunch of redundant intermediary nonsense that needs to go away anyway. There's a lot of people getting paid for doing shit that is not adding value.
Like movie remakes.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, now they're doing never-ending story.
Department of Motor Vehicles.
They need it.
They can't fire them.
Well,
I mean, I got mad. All of a sudden, five of the information takers or whatever it is got up and walked away. And I said, where they're going? She said, well, it's time for break. You got 30 people in here waiting to do something with their driver's license or license plates or certificate of title. And you have the gall. You guys, I mean, I was pissed. I'm convinced. I can tell that I was getting really close to having a 911 call, so I backed away. I just left.
Hey, that'll get you fast service.
Yeah,
that'll get you to the front of the line.
Yeah.
But the wrong line. That's the wrong line.
Well, think about. I mean, you brought up, the DMV and the whole registration and license and all that bullshit. The entire system that is in place to facilitate that is a bunch of antiquated bullshit. There is, with the tech we have today, if you can do your banking on your phone and not be hacked, and the only hacking that's going to be done is you screwed up your password and your ID, somebody got it. They're not hacking into your phone to get it. They're not taking over your phone to do that. They can do that kind of tech, but that's really hard. The encryption that's available that's using our phones today it's safe enough to do your banking, to do financial transactions. Well, if you can do that, why can't we do our licenses on them? If you're just going to go through and take a test, you screenshot your face because it's got to be on the, there's enough biometric validation just to this smart device to validate your identity for 90% of the shit that we need to do to authenticate ourselves as being one who can engage in this transaction of exchange of value between me, you, and whoever else. Because that's, in the end of the day, that's all it is. All the magic, all the crap around it is a bunch of bullshit nobody's gone in and cleaned out the crap as it's gone along. And you don't need that production line anymore. Oh, get rid of that stuff. You don't need that anymore. There's a bunch of friction in the system by default and organically over time. because, we all know that there's nothing more permanent than a temporary government
Yeah, that's for
solution.
damn sure.
So the system is naturally clogged, and that's not just in our government, the administration of our society and our nation, but it's in everything else. It's in the financial system. It's in the academic system. It's in the medical and healthcare system. It's in every frickin' thing that we use. Is got a whole bunch of friction built in that's inefficient. Well, gee, if you could streamline that, make it more effective, make it easier, more secure, have auditability, the transparency of it. If you can have that, we'd live in a totally different world. The stress levels would drop exponentially, because all of the things that we need to do to engage in society and be a productive participant among the peeps, all of that stuff becomes secure and easy and basically lightning fast. All the tech to do that is here now. The problem is the infrastructure that's in the way that needs to get moved is onerous. It is, just this ginormous pile of geezers.
I resemble
And they
that
need to be
statement.
they need to be herded out of there. So I'm sorry that I went down that rant, because I know that I can get rather emotive about it. But my point is that the tech used properly in the way, and anybody who's afraid of the tech, if you haven't seen the latest or any of the Star Trek, but the latest two series, Star Trek Discovery and Strange New Worlds, go watch them to see the proper implementation of badass tech. That, I think, is where we're headed. I don't think we're heading into this dystopian zombie robot, iRobot kind of model. No. It could happen, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. Brian Singh and I were talking about this the other night on Thursday. There's an evolution that's going on of frequencies, a transformative exchange of cycles of frequencies, and it's not just here, it's in the cosmos. Scalar waves of change of different types of energy are upon us. And a lot of it seems to be predictable from the previous information by our ancestors. So these cycles seem to be somewhat repeatable. We're in a apparently repeating cycle. One is waning, the other is waxing. The waxing is where all the good shit is that's about to happen. We happen to be like under the crossing of the streams. So, you always, Ghostbusters, don't cross the stream. Well, you can't avoid that with the way that the cycles and the energies happen within themselves, and they overlap as they transform. So we're under this stream crossing that's got a big old dumpster fire going on, and everything around that dumpster fire, all the systems around it, the buildings, the streets, and all that, are a bunch of antiquated crap that can't be fixed, can't be repaired. It all has to be replaced. And you go, well, replace with what? And it's like, well, all the tech and all the models to go build something that's much more efficient, much more productive, far less friction, much more accountable, auditable, and transparent. It's all here. I mean, we got to get rid of the crap to put the new stuff in and make it so.
A good example, you go to the doctor's office and you have like 5 pages to fill out every time you go there. I said, I've been a patient here full time for 12 years. You should have a good idea who I am, my one prescription. And said, no, we have to justify this, and we have to have this. And it's irritable. And all they need is, like you say, you have everything that you need in your back pocket or in your purse. They know more about you than you know about you. I mean, literally. And unfortunately, a lot of people.
So why would, if that's true, which I think it is, why is there such a big deal about being able to prove who you are in whatever situation case it is, whether you're presenting, authenticating yourself to do a financial transaction, or if you're going to vote. Why aren't we able to use our identity to go vote? It's sure as hell got to be, at least I would think, much more accurate and secure than a bunch of paper floating through the post office system, which we know is a secure agency. Right?
Yeah.
Except election season.
So I'm kind of wondering, well, it looks like Heidi clicked out for a minute. I see B still trying to get in. I don't know.
I need to go refill
he's
my
got
drink.
his buttons fixed
All right.
there, but
See, you're dropping them off like flies.
Oh, shit.
see, I had to go on that rant and chase him off. God
like-
damn it!
It's like a sickness,
Oh,
and the only
fuck.
cure is more cowbell.
More, yeah, there's like Bauer when people start dropping out of the show. That's your time to shut up.
Tip your camera down a little bit, B.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I don't know what the problem was. A lot of it's an Apple, isn't it? That's the problem. Yeah, I've actually turned the computer off about half a dozen times and unplugged everything, put it back together. But when I was actually trying to configure to get in to this platform, it when I clicked on select your camera, something went wrong. Try again later.
Good day,
That's a
Terry.
different view.
Hello. How are you?
Good, doing well. I'm back on my phone. I guess whatever charger she plugged in, it wasn't plugged in, so
Well,
it drained my laptop.
Yeah, I just had problems using my microphone and everything because as soon as you configure your mic and your camera, I get this little thing come up saying something went wrong. Something went wrong. Your camera's not coming on. The microphone would work, so I thought I'll just go in on a microphone. Then I just started clicking a few things and it came on. It's okay, it's good. How are you?
There you go.
I'm fine.
They do that
Heidi,
just to irritate you.
that wherever you are with that camera, it's very theatrical movie kind of lighting. It's very
Yeah.
soft. I mean, you look like you're in a
Ready for your
movie
close
about
up, Mr. Bill.
looks like she's about to seduce somebody.
Oh.
Wait, I'm looking at what?
Yeah, so I know. Let's see here. Where's the Clay?
This is the
Clay's-
same thing I did with you guys last week when I was really out of it. I was
Yeah, but you were
ineligible.
running. You were running through the house with lights or the
I was,
sunshine
yeah.
coming in, and I mean, there was
Yeah.
it was like you was a movie star coming down, and cameras were flashing and shit.
I couldn't sit still.
But I've still got a notice on top. Something went wrong. Try again. Please try again later. I'll click that off the screen. See what
Where'd
happens.
Clay
No,
go?
but you look good.
Okay.
You sound good. Just leave it alone.
He went to fill
All
the
right.
drink, which I'm going to do as well. But
Okay.
Let's play some
so
music.
Jim, you need to take back. Yeah, we'll go to a little music interlude. But Jim, you need to take back that I scared everybody off. You guys should have heard him going on about, well, see, everybody's gone now. Clay left, Heidi left, and then B came in. So we know what kind of folks you attract. The fly to shit thing.
And I'm gonna have to run in about 15 minutes.
Look, Heidi.
All right.
I mean,
Yeah.
who needs enemies when you got friends like him?
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
right.
Well, I mean,
Well, let me play. I'll play a little piece here that by an artist that you guys may not have heard of, and you may find quite interesting and potentially even enjoyable. And I have a dog that's starting to lose it back there, so I'm going to go make sure she's taken care of. All right, you guys see that?
Yeah,
Yep.
see an image. Nothing. You haven't
Okay,
started
hold
it
on.
yet.
Yep. Hold on. Here we go. And You hear that all right?
Yep.
Yes.
Are we turning off cameras for this? I can turn off the camera.
That was nice.
That was awesome.
It was good, but you wouldn't want to have a hangover listening to that. Boom, boom, boom.
I mean, just think of, he had to carry all that down to the
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah, you
the
wouldn't
fact
want
that
to come in with it.
That was so cool. Is that what you're talking about? So that beat in the background's playing, but you're infusing your human with alongside.
Yeah,
Something else.
I particularly picked that one out for Clay because, as you can see, he's not only a instrumentalist,
Yeah.
but he's programmed that. So a lot of it is loops,
Nice.
and he's got each instrument going separately into the feed. He's got an effect on that feed and a loop on that feed if he wants, and he's just playing all the different parts with the loop of the rhythm going on in the background.
Cool.
And I love his writing. I love his playing. His name is Reinhard Burr, B-U-H-R. He's an independent artist, been around for a few years, got a great YouTube channel, a lot of great music. He's got his new album out. So
Awesome.
along the lines of supporting not only great and good music that is being made now, but the whole idea behind that of supporting the independent artist.
Yeah.
These people, the people that I've got queued up here are all a bunch of individual artists that we're not going to get any blocks from because they're not in the system. They're on their own. They are part of the rise of the independent content creators around the globe. And these artists, these musicians, some of these young cats are just mind-boggling what they're doing, not only technically, but in my opinion, some of their writing and the performance that they're doing. So Reinhardt's one of them. Just some amazing music. I'm glad you all really enjoyed that.
Very nice.
I really enjoyed it. I'm going to share that with my daughter. She just shared someone with me, a fella who plays violin, but he plays like top 40. But he infuses a little electric. She's really into it.
Yeah.
She's like, I bet with the cello I could do this song. And I'm like, do it. And her friend would play guitar. And I'm like, so this is up her alley too. So
I like original music,
Yeah.
definitely. And I hate it when somebody tries to play other people's stuff and try to copy them, not being themselves. You know, I mean, we've all got our own style. I mean, some people like heavy rock, some people like ballads, but they make no difference what you play as long as you put yourself into it, and that's the important thing, because that's the trouble. People try to copy the label, you know, and it's like you might as well go and do karaoke. You know what I mean?
Well, I shared last week 2 artists that sound exactly like the other artists, and I sent them to Robert. I don't know if you got them through the cell phone text or not, but they're not actually trying to mimic or copy. That's just how they sound, and they sound identical to the artist. It's just amazing. And now they have their own music industry or their own albums and stuff because of that little YouTube or reel that they did. Now, kind of just like the guy from Vietnam that sang for Journey, because he did start off in karaoke, but he sounded so good that the band invited him on, and then he's touring with them for the last several years.
Yeah, he was doing karaoke on YouTube.
I'm not saying they haven't got talent, but the thing is, I mean, I like you know, stuff people do, you know, their own character come out in the music, you know. That's how I like it.
The most original artists start off doing covers anyway. I mean, that's how
That's
they
right. That's how
start.
the Beatles started, right?
Oh yeah, exactly.
Here's another one that is along the same lines, but more of what B is talking about on doing other people's music, because what Elsie does is a version of that, and does it exceptionally well, but using the same model that Reinhard Burr uses. It's all programmed loops. So check this out. So she looped that.
I guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find a love within.
Beautiful.
I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in a daze from your love, you see. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. Some people go around the world for love, yeah, they may never find what they dream of. What you won't do for love. You have tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world, only you make me do for love what I would not do. My friends wonder what is wrong with me. Well, I'm in a daze from your love, you see. I came back to let you know. Got a thing for you, and I can't let go. You know I only want the best, it's true. I can't believe the things I do for you. What you won't do for love. You have tried everything, but you don't give up. In my world, only you make me do for love what I would not do. Hello, I've waited here for you ever long. Tonight I threw myself into, and out of the red, out of her head she sang what I would not do, what I would not do. What you won't do.
That was good.
That was good.
That's excellent. I like that. Very nice indeed.
Very good.
And
Now,
boys and
Pixie in
girls,
chat wants to know what the
I-
last video, not this video, but the one before was. So if you could put the link in the YouTube chat.
Oh, for Reinhardt?
Yes.
Yes.
yeah. And I got to go. So y'all have what's left of the weekend. Clay, it was nice to hear your beautiful music. I'm not a musician, but I love music.
And hello and goodbye to you, James.
And then, and of course, then that guy from Down Under.
Of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mr. B. Glad
Yeah.
you finally made it. And
Oh,
of course,
mate, I've had a rough few weeks, mate, believe me. A rough few weeks.
Always gorgeous Heidi and Gerald, and of course the professor. I thank you for the wonderful
Good to
evening,
see you.
and I will
We'll
talk
catch
to
up
you
soon,
later.
Jim. We'll catch up soon, mate.
Don't let the mouse chase you on the way out.
I won't. You take care. Adios.
Bye.
See you later,
See you,
mate.
bud.
Bye.
Oh, dear. Well, here we are.
So on this whole theme of music or conversation of music, I mean, there's all kinds of this stuff out there that you don't hear because it's not in the main feeds or the lame feeds, the legacy feeds. It's just not out there.
I see.
But all you got to do is spend a little time on YouTube and just, again, that thing that, Clay was talking about when he created that song, putting in the prompt. What is the prompt you're using? You just think of it that way in YouTube or whatever else you're doing, because they're all starting to get new prompt scripting language updates. So it's like, well, we can actually figure out something closer to what you just asked for.
Yep.
Because we've got this new neural network over this large language model, and we can search farther.
Hey, by the way,
But one of the things,
what is happening to the music industry these days? I mean, it's like the labels are disappearing. It's all going electronic. Like it's like
that's where it's supposed to go. That's
disappearing.
where it needs to go.
Well,
That's where it needs to go.
My opinion.
All of that old system is a bunch of infrastructure that's antiquated, doesn't work, doesn't add value. It sucks. It costs to have it. It doesn't enable.
But good music came out in those days too. You know what I mean?
Well, that has nothing to do with the system.
I understand.
That's separate. There were artists, people writing great music, whether there was a system that took it and distributed it and exploited it or not. I mean, there's a whole bunch. I mean, there's stories after stories of Sting, for example. They played for like 3 years and nobody wanted them. They were getting ready to break up. It was at the last minute that somebody said, "Hey, we're playing this guy's or not Sting, Police. We're playing Police down in Florida." Some DJ picked it up, just started spinning the shit out of it because everybody kept calling in, and all of a sudden it went nuts. That's the only reason Police continued. Was for that, nobody gave a shit. Apparently, nobody liked them. Labels, they do gigs, and it just wasn't happening. The artistry that they created by sticking together and figuring out their gig and their flow amongst themselves, and then the writing, that took time to develop, but that was artistry that was innate. It needed to find its way by those guys working on it to bring it to life. Once they did, Roxanne was just, it's history. Everybody knows that song. That was their first hit. And they just went, we didn't think that. None of the labels, nobody wanted it. So my point is that it's the artists that make the music, not the system. The system will make the artist, but it won't make what the artist makes. It won't make the art. It'll help it and assist it, but the real driver is the artist itself, and people have to have the ability to create stuff, own it, have sovereignty and provenance over it themselves, and decide where it's used, by whom and how, for how much. The system that's in place to do that today is a bunch of corrupt, greedy old geezers.
I
as
agree.
well as a bunch of idiots that they raised and they replaced themselves with.
I know that they're usually the first contracts. They usually work for nothing, just about, and they get exploited. And it's usually after if actually the contract runs out and they've been a success, that's when they come in with their agents and start demanding a 80-20 type deal where before they'll be lucky if they get 20% out of the whole lot at the beginning. You know,
There's all kinds of shenanigans.
a lot of artists ended up going into debt because of these contracts. Because the companies were just taking a big whack.
That was one of the good things about the beginning of the pandemic, because all these artists couldn't go out and tour and do all these concerts anymore. So the homegrown artist was born, and they realized, wait a minute, I can create just as good quality music in my home than I can spending thousands of dollars at a record studio.
Yeah.
I just need to spend the time to do it.
Well, that's right, and I agree. You know, you get the right equipment. You know, I mean, it opens up the world, doesn't it? I mean, you've got to have good equipment straight away. I mean, you want to do the loop. I mean, how many loops would you have? 8, 9 loops in some cases. It depends on how many instruments and how many vocals you want on it. So
yeah. I built my studio in '98 in Atlanta with the construction of adding the control room, but most of it was equipment. I had about 300,000 in that studio. And all top equipment. It was an analog live to a digital control room. So everything had its own analog feed. To build that 10 years earlier in 1988, it would have been 1.2, maybe 1.5 million.
Yeah.
And to do what I did.
And you probably get the same quality now as something that only costs about 1,500 or 2,000.
Well,
in a little box.
Yeah, I mean, if you know what to do with the audio and the video tools that do the recording, you can make some amazing shit. Goes right back to this whole discussion about AI and what Clay did. The tool, to be able to say that tool is an expert system on doing music. It knows genres, it knows tempos, it knows beats, it knows instruments, it knows melody, and all of the chord relationships. All of that shit's been programmed into an expert system. That's why it does what it does. That system is not going to go get you a cup of coffee. That one is not going to let you know that you're out of toilet paper while you're in aisle 5.
I used to have a wonderful
roll at the store.
A wonderful reverb in it. You know, it was fabulous. Sounds like there was 3 other people in harmony with me. Just for my voice, it just puts it off. You know, and it's always in harmony. It's fantastic. I know what technology can do, and it's wonderful if you get the right tools. That is, you know, yeah.
Well, that was my point. Is the tools, by the time I went to build the studio, the tools were going through a major transformation. I had an analog console, Soundcraft Ghost, because it had those British preamps, and I just love the warmth, the British sound, you know, out of those boards. So I had that as my console, but everything else went recorded digitally. I had DAT, so I was recording to DAT or I was recording to disc. And that was when it was Pro Tools was taking over. And Pro Tools was at that point with Pro Tools, you had to buy not only the software, but hardware that was proprietary to that system. And it was like $30,000-$40,000. It's like,
but did you used to find that the old valve systems, you know, the jobs that the recording equipment used to have the old valves, you had to preamp them, pre-warm them up before you start. They had a rich sound to it. Then they went to transistor, and that transistor stuffed it right up. They really did. I mean, that you can't beat the old valve sound. I remember years ago, my parents had this old radiogram. I know we're talking something totally different, but it's the audio that comes out of it. It had such a rich sound. It literally filled the room with vibe. It really did. And you know, when you listen to it, you can feel it bouncing off your chest. You know, the quality of it, which you don't get that anymore. And people say, "Oh, you go digital." Digital's good in lots of respects, you know, but when you're actually pushing out quality sound, I mean, you still can't beat the valve as far as that's my personal opinion. The end result's got to go through a valve, you know.
When you say valve, are you talking about tubes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
So Heidi,
Yeah.
when you were doing your Hollywood professional stuff, did you get involved in any of the AV production?
My startup, yeah, was post production at Sunset Hour Studios. I was the PA for the group. So all the edit bays and AVs, you know, all that kind of equipment. But I was just skipping all over the place. I wasn't I was all fascinating. But I also we did a commercial once at I wish I knew the name of it. I've been trying to think this whole time when the music started. This recording studio, famous recording studio in Hollywood. I don't know. But it was just beautiful. It was gorgeous to be in there. You could feel the energy. You knew the magic that happened there. And yeah, I remember this being even before kids. So this is before 2010. But I remember the people that worked there, I was asking all these questions, but they're like, oh, this will be obsolete one day. I remember them saying that. And I'm like, it's impossible. Look at this is amazing. You know, and they're telling me the stories of all the people that had recorded there and stuff. And they're like, no, you know, it'll be changing, but it'll be different. It'll be same but different. But just being able to see all that stuff. I did a recording session once, you know, with a flat mic just to do some voiceover for somebody. So I got to, you know, I don't know how they were doing all the dials and everything, but I was in one of the studios once saying stuff. It was for a stand-up comedy show called Bitchcraft. So we were doing a theme song. But I don't know too much more other than I just have appreciation of music.
Well, I guess the main reason I was asking you that is, did you see that transition while you were in the system, where there was this technology and then it was either sounding better or sounding worse, or there was more work to make it sound good?
I see it getting smaller, like with commercials, the playback, video playback and sound. They would always be the two guys together. And all their equipment, everything started getting smaller and more compact. They could wheel it around on one little cart instead of, they had all their cable and their wires with them and everything, and they'd go satellite for the pass vans and client service area and things. But everything was like in their own little kit that fit in their car, whereas it was vans before. You know, it was like 2-3 man teams that were doing sound before. Or even the old Hollywood days. I finally saw that one movie, Babylon, you know, the old Hollywood days on soundstage where, you know, they're in there with their mics and you can't make a pin drop sound in the studio. And they're just filming it from a hot box, you know, so it was soundproof. All those little tech things have been so grossly different. They pick up sound like nobody's business now. But it also gets people in trouble.
Right.
Yeah, right.
If your mic's not turned off, yeah, there's been a lot of controversy with your hot mic.
We do have to pay homage to the hot mic scenario because it is given so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
It is like, thank you, hot mic.
Yeah.
You've been very, very good to us.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
So what we were talking about before, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the documentary for Spin City with a girl from Foo Fighters, where he actually went into the studio, the old studio in California, and took out the mixer board and the whole, and brought it to his house, to his studio, and put it all back together and recorded some great artists on it. And it was just amazing the sound that he got out of that old board.
Awesome.
Yeah,
he's a sweet pea, by the way.
David Grohl, I think is the guy who did that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that. That was just absolutely amazing. And the thing is that the audio experience is really a very personal one. It's something that all of us, you know, we have our own resonant frequencies that are who we are in the way that we inhabit everything. And there's a unique thing that goes on there. And that thing has its preferred resonances. It has its preferred biases, its prejudices, its peccadillos. And it's expressed through the kinds of things that we like, that we say we like. And music has the ultimate spectrum of frequency sets to interact with our biological frequencies, right? So we might resonate. Like, I mean, I can see Terry getting up and just totally dropping some hip hop. Okay. He just seems like that kind of guy. He seems like he could lay down a good Aussie lick.
Yeah.
But
you know,
that's why music is something that is the first thing that I think people when they come here and they manifest into these little carbon units, get them into music and see what they start boogieing to and what they don't like.
Yeah.
And give them more of that and let them go explore it by the natural resonance that they have with it. Because music is where everything is. You can learn everything about life from music.
Have you ever watched,
I'm biased, but that's my opinion.
Have you ever watched some of these scenes, like movie scenes, where they're literally, the actors are doing their part, and then they take away the background music, and the whole scene totally changes without the music, and it's like it's got no heart, it's got no feeling. I mean, they use music for impact music for war. They use soft music for love, and it's how this music portrays. It speaks the moment, you know, and it brings out the feeling of the heart. And it's without the music. I mean, actually, the best one I saw was a Stargate episode where the actors are sitting there and they're talking away, you know, and they showed you with the music and without the music, and it was like black and white. One was just boring. All it was two people talking, and that meant nothing. But with the music, it had content. It had feeling. What they were saying. It's unbelievable how the music translated the words that were coming out of their mouth. You know.
It also stirs shit up because you could have a very nothing thing, but then it's like dun dun dun. The music shifts in a news story, and you're like, oh geez, I'm the annoying mom that calls all that stuff. Like, look what they did there. They're trying to scare us. Oh, something scary is coming. Here comes the music.
Yeah, like in a horror movie, like when the beats start coming. Oh, here comes the kill.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Hear the footsteps.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yes. I'm an obsessed dancer. I love music. I always said if I was gonna do that something out like the dream thing. I mean, there's so many gigs, but a professional dancer or even ice skater. I don't ice skate, but I love how they move to the music. Like the story they tell through music on ice is gorgeous, fascinating. Music can change everything. Yeah, that was my favorite. But I love to dance too.
It's good for the soul.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, so can you dance without music?
Yeah, in my head. Yeah, it's movement for sure, but it's usually
you'll have it in your head. You'll have it in your
head. Yeah, it's in my head.
Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, but basically, you can hear a song, and you can either putz about listening to that song and kind of maybe shake and shimmy and shuck and jive a little bit to it, but you're just hearing it in your head. You might even be singing it, right?
I don't sing very much, but
so you don't. Yeah. So you don't sing the lyrics and shake it. Or you just
sometimes.
Shake it?
If I'm driving, I'm singing a lot. I love big movements. Like I love moving. I'm a dance floor hogger and everything, but not in a mean way. Just in a I got moves. You know, like the full extension.
You need some space.
Yeah, I need space. But I can go on a teeny tiny tabletop if I want to.
Okay.
Come on. More than what we need.
Hold on.
Tabletop.
Hold on. I got cash. Hold on.
Do we have a poll? Do we have a poll? We have a poll.
Wait a minute. I'm thinking old school drunk college days. You know?
Did you say a small table or a pole?
Here we go.
You're a sick man.
You
Bella.
opened that up. It's your fault.
Well, it has to be it's really hard to do the full stuff. They have exercise.
Have you
No.
tried?
They have fancy exercise classes out here. Instead of aerobics,
Yeah.
it's now pole. Like it's a trending exercise.
Right.
For like
I get more fun watching women doing belly dancing, you know.
that's a good one. That's
Yeah.
another tough one. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I like to sell, so you think you can dance. I used to love that show too, but music changes everything. Yeah. And I love that both my kids, there's exposure to all of it, a lot of it. My son is like, he feels it. He likes it. He could go drum and bass all day. My daughter has a more
As
big
you get
range.
older, I find your taste changes. I mean, I used to like heavy, hard metal. My favorite band in the early days, who I have played with, one of them, Orquin. I don't know if you've heard of Orquin. And I actually stood in there. My agent rang me many years ago and he said, hey, I was at home on leaving from the army at the time. And they said, hey, you're available? I said, well, I've got 3 weeks. I said, well, we need you over at Manchester University. Why? The rhythm guitarist is OD'd on acid. So I said, okay. I mean, he was all right. He survived. And so I went. I was told to sit in the shadows at the back, stay out of sight. And I was into space rock back those days. Now I'm more of a ballad man. Just take it easy, slow. I've got arthritis now in the hands, and so I can't do. My fingers can't do the scales like they used to anymore. I can't do the walking. I do basic, simple stuff now. Just a little bit of finger flicking and ballad stuff. That's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my thing.
And a fair amount of air guitar, I'm sure.
Oh, mate. Yeah, I can still do that.
I mean, if you aren't strapping on,
I got to do it.
Then you've lost that feeling.
Yeah.
I grew up on 80s metal, but now I'm more like you, more easy listening. And even my playing, I started learning playing, Black Sabbath and Judas Priest and stuff like that. But when I play now, it's more easy listening, really.
Yeah.
Right.
It changes.
Ambient. Yeah. Ambient chill.
I still appreciate listening to some of it, like memories. You have your flashbacks sort of thing. We're not talking about acid here, where you have your memories and you kind of, and you think, hey, it's just like you listen to music and it's like, God, it can bring back a moment. I mean, I used to listen to, every time I hear ELO.
Yeah.
Right?
That got me in. Yeah.
You know where I am when I listen to that? I'm on the Nullarbor Plain, traveling across Australia in the middle of bloody nowhere. It's a treeless plain. It's, it's 700 friggin' miles of just openness, and you might, you get a service station about every 400 miles, something like that. And honestly, mate, it's ELO brings back that. You look out your window, and while I'm listening to ELO, I see an emu chasing my car. It brings back memories. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys probably sometimes you hear a song and you think, oh shit, doesn't that remind me of my first date I went on with somebody?
Oh gosh.
Every day.
Yeah, every moment. I'm trying hard not to tell my daughter now because their songs would come up that remind me of their dad. Their dad and I were very much the dance floor, clubs, the works. And there's an era. So a song would come on, I'm like, I don't want to bring up that dude. But there's some songs that I'll skip more often than not because of the memory flashback. I'm like, ooh, I don't want to go down that road next. And then there's my dad's songs. In fact, one was you were just playing. I'm not good for love.
I tell you,
and isn't that a great version of that?
Yeah. He would have loved that. I thought it was a sign.
When you ever get the time, listen to an artist called John Farnham. He actually sang a song called Help, Paul McCartney's song, right?
Oh.
And Paul McCartney was actually fell over backwards. He said, you actually made that song better.
Which Paul McCartney, the clone or?
Heidi,
whatever.
You
bad girl.
a turn.
You
Take a turn.
I
bad
don't
girl.
know. I don't know if he's a clone or not. I wouldn't know. Don't care. I mean, as long as they keep playing good music. But the thing is, John Barnum, he's known as the voice. This guy has a voice. He's an old bloke now, you know, but his range was brilliant, and his song, the way he sang those songs, you know, it's terrific. I got to listen to John Barnum. It's really
You
good.
say John Bonham, and I think of the drummer from Led Zeppelin.
Farnham.
Yeah, exactly.
Farnham, mate. Farnham.
Oh,
See,
okay.
that's that English that you guys try to speak down there that, you know, we know that wankers are from the north.
Yeah.
And the Fair Dinkum holiday, is that
No,
what's going
fair
on?
dinkum. Fair dinkum.
Fair Dinkum. It's
Yeah,
a dink.
what fair dinkum means? True, really? Fair dinkum, mate. Fair dinkum. Yes, it's true. That's what.
That's
it
a
means.
that's a lot of syllables to say true.
Yeah, exactly right. But that's the way we do it here, mate. You know, I mean, you haven't you asked yourself why we call you Yanks? I know. I mean, I'm not.
No, we've been Yanks for everybody calls us that.
Yeah, because
and
you're
now-
yanking your chain all the time, mate.
Well, there's a lot of that too. But now we're this overly privileged, responsible set of white folk. We have responsibilities because of our whiteness. Because that whiteness has brought us a whole bunch of privilege
That's a big turn.
and inequality for those who ain't the same color.
Excuse
and
me.
The problem is that we
You're
all,
wrong.
as white folks, want our own month,
We're not
and
white.
we want some reparations
We
for
let's
all
get
of the
this-
shit we're taking
Come
out.
on, correctness, mate. We are not white. We are coloured. We are the colour.
I'm
Yeah.
colored.
Hey,
Look at me.
well, hey, look, mate. I got hazel eyes. You know, pink skin.
I'm not sure this is the right show for this conversation. I thought we were talking about music.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just correcting it. We are the coloureds here.
You know what I wanted to tell you, Terry? I'm pivoting back. You know what my very first concert was? And I was scared of concerts. I didn't do concerts well because at the time I didn't know how to balance energy. So I was really like overwhelmed by people. But my first was Midnight Oil. That's an Aussie band.
yeah.
That would have been cool.
And now, very good.
So cool.
Yeah,
Poplar
actually,
Creek. And then I have
actually,
a chipped tooth from Blues Travelers.
They used to sing at a hotel in a place called Coogee in Sydney, and was it Selena's Bar? And I used to go in there after work. At the time, I used to work in the hospital as an orthopedic technician, and they used to stay until about 2 a.m. And I used to go down there. I used to strip off my uniform, put on my shorts and a t-shirt, and go into Selena's. And I'll sit there at the bar, knocking back my Jack Daniels, and I'll be talking to the guys. I knew every bloody one of them at the time before they actually became famous.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
that was their resident hole, as they call it. Yeah, the water hole where they did all the thing, you know. And I remember the stage they had, it was like a disco dance floor that had all those white illuminated floors. And the band was up, you know, and he's up there shaking his head, you know. Peter Garrett, you know, yeah, shaking his head, doing his thing, you know. But yeah, he went into politics in the end. Didn't do a very good job for the Greenies, though. But yeah, they were the days, actually. They were good. Midnight Oil, brilliant. No? Beds of Burning. That was my favourite song of theirs, Beds of Burning.
Yeah.
That's a good
That was at the time. That was the album, I think. That was their headliner there.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. Pre-car. I think I was for 14.
Actually, Peter Garrett was actually he actually studied law at Sydney University. Yeah. I remember I took the piss out of him one day, and I said, "God, you're going to be a blood-sucking leech, are you?" He just laughed. He had a good sense of humour. That's going back some time now. Shit. That's going back some time, a long time. God, it makes me feel, I am old, aren't I? It makes me feel old. I mean, come on.
That reminds me of the lyrics from Clay's song about, you know, something to do with wandering back in time and telling you how good it was from when it was vinyl or something like that.
Mhm.
And that, I mean, that's so true. That's what you're referring to earlier, I think, B, when you're talking about the tubes or the vacuums, right?
Mm.
Because that warm sound, it's really fascinating. When you look at the history of the studios and the techniques and the tools they had, all of the technology, they really got onto tape some of the most pristine sounds. They didn't have the best instruments like we have today. They didn't have the best feeds going in and the best boards, but the recorded sound was amazing. It was that rich, deep fullness.
Yeah.
And then when
But-
Dave Grohl went and did that, what you were talking about with the studio, he took that board out. He went in and just went after the old school. They did that whole thing on 2-inch. It was 8-track, and they just had the reels running. All of the XLR cables pulled in from the live room. Everybody on the board was marked and bussed. You had your limiters, your compressors, your L2s, and all that stuff that made it that fat, beautiful sound. And that is hard. If you have been in it, then you know. If you
the
haven't
biggest
gone in it and had that sonic experience, when I listen to sound, I want my butt to rumble. If I got a butt rumble going on, I know I've got a good sound system.
Do you know what I found really amusing? It's like when you get people like Pink Floyd and that, and I mean, all their studio work was fantastic, but when they actually went on tour, they were stuffed. They actually had to take recordings with them because the Moog synthesizers were basically in the studios. There weren't something you can carry around like a guitar or a drum set. I mean, they were bloody.
Yeah, early pictures of Keith Emerson with ELP. The thing was, 8-10 feet tall with wires and patch cords all over it.
So basically, there were studio bands, I mean, the music, so everything, they had a reel to reel. When they go on tour, they take the reel to them, they had to play to the reel because the synthesizer's all on the tape. That's weird how they used to do it. And in those days too, I mean, I've heard Pink Floyd, they were good, but even Rolling Stones, they were good, but they weren't good as a studio, Rolling Stones. I mean, if anybody actually watched the Rolling Stones live, they were actually crap. They weren't really as polished as they were in the studio. That's just my personal opinion, I mean, I like their stuff. I really do. But, yeah, Mick Jagger, he always sounds all right. But the band in general did not have together like the studio work, honestly. But then that's how it goes sometimes, isn't it? I mean, people, when they're on the road, they get tired, they don't sleep, they hit drugs to keep awake, and it knocks them hard. That's how come a lot of them end up going to rehab in the end or ODing and have problems because, hey, the commitment of being one town to the next, you do a show and you're straight on a bus and then you're traveling again and you've got another show in 6 hours in another state, I mean, how can you live like that without having drugs, And that's the problem. And these agents and everything are feeding them to them. Come on, you can do it. They don't worry about the artists. All they're worried about their paycheck at the end of the day. But then again, that's another story, isn't it? I mean, it's sad.
Like
well, that's I'll just jump in and say this, and you guys can have a think about it. But I think all that's changing for the good. Artists, in order to make a living doing their art, is no longer have to be on the road. It's a benefit. It's a bonus. But
they're holograms too.
What's that? What's
They use
that?
holograms too. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Right.
No, I mean, they still have to be on the road to a degree. I mean, but
No.
Press.
I mean, so what are you going to have? What are they going to do? Just do a record? Or just put a label out?
Well,
and
hold on,
B.
hold on.
Come on.
You remember the band Boston?
Oh, I've heard of them.
Okay. Well, I think they're still in the top 5, might be the top 3 best-selling albums of all time. Okay. That album was composed, produced, engineered, mixed, and mastered by the guy who wrote it, Tom Schultz. He did it in his basement. He brought in artists, other musicians, to play the final track for the drums and the bass. He got Brad Delp, one of the most underrated, mind-boggling vocalists of all time. And he went in and recorded all that and produced it himself. He went to the label and said, "Here's my stuff." And they said, "We're signing you immediately." The album went to number one, stayed up there in the top 10 or whatever for a year or two. And the label said, "It's time for you guys to go tour." And Tom said, "We're not a band. I recorded this." They never knew that he recorded and produced it all in his basement. Okay.
Didn't know that.
Jimmy Page, Led Zeppelin, very similar story. Page wrote it all, majority of it, produced it, did all the engineering, did the mastering, the mixing and the mastering, and then went to Ahmet Erhard at Capitol and said, "Here." And he went, "All right, here's a check for $25,000. That was in '69, and that equivalent was about, I think now about $250,000. And Jimmy Page negotiated to maintain the publishing rights, which is where all the money is made in the currently broke system. It's the publishing. Paul McCartney, yesterday, he still makes somewhere around $6 or $7 million a year on the publishing right royalties for that song. One song. Wrote it himself, had a dream about it. Went in the next day to George Martin, said, "I think I've heard this before." Played it for George, and George went, no, that's a really good song. You should make that. Finish that song. That goes back to the point I was talking about as far as artistry, but more importantly, to the current point, the ability for an artist to go out and make a living off of the creation of their own content has never been easier. It's never.
I agree with that, but
it doesn't require you to go on the road and do all that shit. Although it is a bonus.
You can do it all from your house now.
Right?
I think everybody wants a live show, mate. I mean, people are hungry for stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure you like to see a live show as well. I mean,
yeah, I'm not saying that you don't do them. I'm just saying you don't need to do them.
Well, you don't need to kind of book your life.
And most of the old artists, like Deep Purple and all the older time bands that are Doobie Brothers, all those guys, they're not making royalty off of their music anymore. They're making, all their money is made off of touring. They're making a shitload touring. Deep Purple's been touring for 30 years, and they are cleaning up. They're everywhere they go, sold out show.
Yeah.
They've made a boatload on the tour. They don't make any more music, any more money off of the publication or even the spins of their music, unless they have the publishing rights like Page and McCartney smartly did. And Tom Schultz. Tom Schultz just said, "Hey, I'm setting up my crib at home. I'm an engineer. I'm a tweaker. I'm a long night sneaker. And I'm going to go in there and just do all this stuff." And he wrote all that shit. And did it all himself.
You can thank all the publishing rights and lyrics rights from Prince and John Fogerty for fighting that battle.
Mm-hmm. Didn't the Beatles own the recording studio called Apple, something like that?
Do what?
That Apple, the Beatles, they actually had their own recording studio called Apple.
No, that was in the UK.
Yeah,
Abbey Road was their label. I don't know. It was Abbey Road Studio.
It was called Apple Studios.
Abbey Road was a studio. Apple was their record label.
Yeah.
Marvelous.
So all of that, Clay, you haven't said much on this, and you're deep into the same territory. Are we heading down the right path, or are we just smoking a bunch of end of the blunts?
No, absolutely. I think the state of music, I think, on the world right now, like even if you go out and turn your car onto jump in your car and turn on the radio station, you're hearing music from 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I went out in the car to go to the store. I turned on the radio. What do I hear? No More Tears by Ozzy. That came out like 20 years ago. I'm like, wait a minute, they're still playing this? Like, where's all the good music? And it's my
Do you
opinion.
know what the most played song on the planet is? I heard this the other day. Unchained Melody has been played more than any other song on the planet. So they say.
it's used in everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
but Clay, do you think that the ability to make a living sitting at home in your studio in your underwear eating Cheetos is a possibility?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's people that are doing it right now.
Is it easier than the old way?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely easier. You can stay home, you have your family, you don't have to worry about being on the road for years at a time. But at the same time, there's nothing like being on stage and having, fans right there, screaming and yelling and having a good time. It's a different feeling for sure.
Well, the thing is, you can have good music, but who's that guy singing it or playing it? That's where the problem goes. I mean, you can have a name, but nobody's going to know you. They say that's nice music, but who's that guy? You put a face to the name, then you start.
Well, you can do that on a video or a live stream like we're doing now.
Yeah,
and that's what, like that Reinhard Burr that I played earlier. If you look closely, not only did he haul all that shit out to the beach, but it was completely self-contained. You saw all of his camera positions, had the light right in front of the keyboard because of the time of the day, and had the roving camera, and that was all just a live. What do they call it, Heidi, in movie when they do this one single camera scene?
One take?
Well, yeah, single one take. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Single take, one take, wonder. Yeah, you can just dolly.
Yeah, like Jack Reach. Was it Reach? Oh no, what was the Amazon? The series with the guy from Office.
An Amazon? Oh, Amazon, the streaming and the
Amazon Prime.
Oh, Jack, I know who you mean, Jack. Yeah, that
one. Because a lot of that was shot in that one take.
Yeah. Oh yeah. A lot of one take, one take.
There wasn't Reacher.
What
is it?
Reacher. Oh no, that was the other.
The one with the
They're all
big dude.
Yeah.
Not Black Jack you're talking about, are you?
No.
Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan. That's what it was. Jack Ryan.
Thanks
but my
for the
point is that one shot thing is what Reinhard Burr did. It's the same thing that Elsie did. Elsie Trout with that.
Yeah.
It was all just one shot, continuous. Okay, I got this. I'm going to go do this, and now launch this. And
I was nervous for. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was nervous for that fella. Like one kick up of wind, and the instrument and cameras could be ruined with the sand.
Or some random four-legged come wandering through your set, right? Which was great. I mean, it added a nice little touch to it. But the ability to do that is all in the tech. It shows that you can create something, you can make something creatively, do it really well, and you can't reproduce that by putting it on a stage. You can do another session of it, but it's not going to be on the beach. It's not going to be with the sunset. It's not going to be, with all of that going on. But I'm sure, I mean, he has that to a science. He's got it down. So he sets up all over the world. You'll see his other videos. He'll just set up on a street somewhere and do like a busker kind of thing and do the exact same set. And you go, no, that's some creative, nice stuff.
I tell you,
he doesn't have a band. He's got his equipment, but he doesn't have to worry about anybody but himself and whoever's holding the camera on the other end.
Can you name one successful busker?
I know a lot of them started as buskers.
Ralph Mattel?
Dobie Das. Yeah, Dobie Das was pretty successful.
Yeah.
There's a handful of them out there.
Yeah. Yeah, really good, you know. And
Allie, what's her name? Allie Sherlock, I believe her name is. She's another one.
They make
Yeah, she's
excellent
really
art.
good.
Listen, most, and I'll be honest here, most street buskers, they know how to perform, you know, and they've done the yard, you know, the hard work. It takes a lot of guts what they do, and you know, when they do make it, they are prime. They are prime. They are good. You know, I really I like the struggling success stories of these people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
these people just walk in off the streets, here's a song, and they know suddenly, okay, you know, she's got nice tits, nice ass. Okay, let's turn her into a star. Excuse my expression, but hey, you've worked in Hollywood, you know what it's like. You know, I mean,
We know what's
a lot of this is true, though. You know what I mean? You got the million, and a lot of these artists, top artists, they're usually children of stars, and there's a lot of people don't realize this.
Or not just of stars, but yeah, of puppet masters and people playing the games. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean,
they're promised things.
Yeah. These people don't necessarily come up doing the hard yard type thing, and I mean, there are the ones that do make have that success, and not all, but the biggest majority. I mean, it's like now the music industry. Now, if you look at it, they're the same people up top as was the word 15 or 20 years ago, controlling it. They make it making it very. What Robert talks about, where you can do it from home. Yes, that's a good idea. I mean, I like the concept of that because it takes that control away from these very few.
Right.
Well, and you can make it at home, and you could put it up right on Spotify, right next to Metallica song.
Yes, exactly. I agree.
Yeah.
Totally
You couldn't
agree.
do that before.
No.
There's some major, huge stars. I know I've talked to you, I think, about this girl and stuff with, you know, Morissette. You know, I got to roll with her for a while on the tours and stuff. And international superstar and the most down-to-earth, normal, just an amazing businesswoman with an incredible team around her. That's, you know, they're not, I don't see them drinking blood, but I see how she, you know, one superstar like that employs tens of thousands of people. And so they become a microeconomy. So either they're controlled microeconomy because they do all that, or they're in control. And they're usually like pulling the strings themselves. And she was pretty good. She's a pretty good business person.
Probably in many respects, they're trying to hold their own sanity, you know?
They have to have a life. And that was where she excelled at because she was just a fun, kind person. She had a life. If they're just, well, I mean, and a good business person. I'm usually involved with the life. But, I mean, I know there's so many out there. I have tales upon tales about, you know, but born into the dark of it all. And they really don't have a choice, or they're given this on a silver platform, this venue to be a star because, you know, the contract. It is a whole nother show, probably. But I have no point, except there's some good people out there.
Look at Chris Hemsworth, right? The guy that plays
Thor.
Thor.
Like 2.5 hours. I'm on my last nap.
Look at a guy that plays for Thor, you know, and he lives in Australia. And somebody, and not just him, what's the other one? Oh God, what's his name? Anyway, Australian movie stars, right? That people say, well, how come you don't live in Hollywood? Well, they actually say straight, if we live in Hollywood, we've got to have security guards when I go home to Australia, I can go to the shopping mall by myself. I don't get hassled. I don't need all this protection or minders with me at all. And it's like Chris Hemsworth. I mean, he goes walking along the bloody beach. You go, hey, he's got a $28 million mansion sitting right on the beach, but he goes walking along the beach, says hello to everybody. Nobody says boo. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you probably wouldn't find him walking down Venice Beach.
No.
You know, he'd be mobbed.
Exactly right. You know, and
that's the biggest tourist. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, it's Australia's funny like that. I mean, we give people space. You know, we say, oh, look at that. Oh yeah, okay, he's famous. Okay, we move on.
Well, out here, the ones that usually approach those people are the touristy ones. The ones who live among are just like, you're like, oh, I saw so and so today. I mean, it really does turn into like, when you first get here, you're driving thinking everyone in the car is somebody, and then you start realizing, well, you don't see them out in the wild so often, but when you do, they're usually just don't want to be bothered. You have to figure out their energy.
Actually,
but I also there's unsung heroes everywhere. The award winners and behind the scenes are everywhere.
A lot of these female stars, you wouldn't even notice them outside the studios because they take the makeup off and everything goes. They look totally different,
The men too. There's some lollipop heads out there where I'm like, oh boy, they put you on an apple box to look tall. There's a lot of littles out here.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Anyway, guys, listen, I've got to get moving. I
know, I gotta go too.
Yeah, I was going to say I've got a sense that we're closing in on about 2.5 hours, so that's a nice consumable chat, and it's been lovely and eclectic with all kinds of interesting things that I don't know. This whole AI thing and music and creators and people who are out there trying to figure out how do I maintain my ability to make a living off the shit I do if there's some fucking robot coming after it. Because that's the big thing, right? Everybody's getting all wound up about it. And in some cases, yeah, it's necessary because those things need to change. But I think it was either Michael Saylor or one of the guys on the Grok team said, it's AI is not going to take your job. People who use AI are going to take your job.
Hey, have you watched that latest Indiana Jones movie, The Dial of Destiny? That the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes of that, you've got a young Harrison Ford, all computer generated, and you can't even tell the difference.
Yeah, they did a nice job with it. It's gotten really good.
I mean, you can't tell the difference.
That's what post-production is the shit. That's where all the magic happens, right, Heidi?
They know it. Yes, actually, yeah. And they were never they weren't out of business, really. They're taking the hit now from the strike 8 months ago, but there's less production stuff. But they employ so many people for one project because of all the posts. Yeah. The magic happens. That's why they have their own award show.
I could see them putting on virtual concerts in the future. They can record the concert in the studio, and already Taylor Swift, she went on tour, but then she recorded it and turned around and put it in movie theaters, and people are going and paying for tickets to see the movie.
I know
of that too. So, how many million people will go watch a virtual concert of Michael Jackson or Prince? Or people will pay for that stuff.
Yeah. I know we're winding up, but there is too, before maybe 2017 or 18, there's a studio out here. I think I was telling you about this too, Carol, with the holograms. We were filming Timberlake that day, and they put him into the hologram, and I'm just watching. Crawspiracy was watching, going like, oh, I know what they're going to do with this. They can do anything with their image. But I mean, they can, it could be a concert and he's not really there, but people will pay to go see it.
Well, it started with Michael Jackson and those Academy Awards. Remember when that was a hologram, him dancing all over the stage? Well, they're getting ready to do like a Las Vegas lounge is going to be all hologram. It's either going to be like Elvis or Prince or any of them. They're going to, so you can actually go and watch a supposedly as close as you can get a live performance of a dead artist.
Wow.
Well, they've had that on was it what's his name, those talent shows they have in America's Got Talent, where these guys come on and this guy stood up there and sang one of Elvis Presley's songs, and he looked like Elvis Presley because it's all computer generated, and everybody was You know, because it looked like Elvis singing.
Huh.
It's all computer gen. Took
Well-
his image and put Elvis's face on it.
Well, I've got a little tune to let everybody out on. You can dip
Okay.
out, check out as you went going out. But this is a bass player, an Indian girl by the name of Mohini Day. And she is, in the musician's world, just people look at her and go, "Are you shitting me?" And she's her late 20s. She's an Indian. Her dad wanted her to play bass, lived in the little huts. Dad was a bass player and taught her, and she kept learning it. She finally got totally into it. And now she's a world famous bass player, has her own clothing line, her own recording label, her own studios and everything. But she is just one little badass. And you go,
Cool.
okay, help me out, help me understand. But thanks everybody for coming. It's been great.
Thank you for having.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having.
Right,
Nice meeting you,
Ben.
Clay.
Right, Ben.
Nice to
Good
meet
to-
you as well.
Yeah, nice meeting you, buddy. You're a good one.
And Clay, I want to hook up with you about doing some music stuff. I spent most of my day trying to get my local recording to go streaming, and had all kinds of like, what is that? Who are you? So I'll tag you separately, and maybe we can get together and do a little live music show.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Definitely.
cool.
Awesome.
Heidi,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Hey, I have a world record today.
Catch
Yeah.
you later, Heidi. Who's
Now I'm
keeping the
gonna go to
kids
the garage.
busy?
Okay.
Who's keeping the kids busy?
My son's at sleepover. He didn't write again. He was a little
Oh,
scared.
good one.
My
Sweet.
daughter's working on her something. Yeah. I'll talk to
All
y'all
right,
soon,
well,
though.
I'm
Thank
going to
you.
play us a tune on the way
Thank
out,
you.
and
Okay.
if you
Hey,
want to
Joe.
stay in, I'll end the stream, but we'll still be in here. So it's up to you. But if not,
I really
thank
did
you again. Awesome. Thank you.
I'm yawning. Okay. Bye, guys.
Yeah, if you guys want to stick around after the stream, I'll be in here.
All right,
I've
cool.
got to go and take my wife out, so I'll catch you
Enjoy.
guys later.
All right. Enjoy a little badassery.